Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu, and it's an honor for me to have you on this platform again today. It's going to be another glorious and wonderful day. I can tell you that now because I've been bubbling up and raring to go. Just can't wait for 8 o'clock to come. So please, if you're out there, let's get started. We've got so much to share today, and I'm sure it's going to be a blessing to all of us. It's amazing to look back that we've been on this now for 32 years, and that just makes it look like wow. Sorry, 32 weeks, not 32 years. For 32 weeks. And it seems to have just flown by. But the good thing is, in the past 32 years, I have learned a lot. I have met a lot of you guys. I have had the privilege of sharing my heart and some of the things that I have seen, that I've learned, that I've experienced, that I've encountered in my journey of life. I've had the privilege of sharing some of them with you, and together we're learning. Together we are on this journey, and I'm so sure that this journey is going to be a glorious one. The end is going to be amazing. We're going to look back at this whole episode in a year's time and wonder, wow, where has time gone? But more than that, we will see the landmark of how much we have become better in who we are, in what we are, in what we do, in how we do them, but most importantly, in fulfilling the purpose and the plan of God in each and everyone's life. So I'm excited. I am so excited for the opportunity to share this platform with you. Olu Wisdom, thank you for you're the first to join. Olabode Laleye, thank you so much for joining. It's an honor. It is an honor, and I will never take it for granted. Thank you. I honor all of you. I appreciate your time, your commitment, your dedication. Thank you. Right. Let's get started, and if you're just joining, let's quickly click on the share button so that you can go out to your friends and contacts as well. Let's click the share button quickly as we get started. Last week we started looking at a specific topic, social behavior. We started looking into what is social behavior, what it entails, what it contains, what is it about this, why is it important, and what can we do, or how does it relate to us? Which part of it do we have? Are we chasing after? Do we need to get and take on board and become a better person for adding it to ourselves? So we started by defining what social behavior is. And we said, in a nutshell, social behavior is the acceptable norm of general conduct within a group of people, among a group of people, between two people, or irrespective of what the group consists of. Every group has a laid down rule. Some of them are spoken, some of them are silent, some of them are not written. But in whatever way, we all know what they are. If you are in a particular group, you know what those rules are, what those expectations are, what those acceptable norms are. You know it, I know it, and therefore we carry ourselves, we live our lives, we conduct our activities within the parameters of those stated or stipulated rules and regulations, as it were. So social behavior is the general conduct that is exhibited by every member of any group or any family or in any relationship that the group has come to accept as the norm, as the practice of that particular group. And it is usually things, some of them, if not most of them, are things that we learned over the years as we grow up from being a child to adulthood. And we learn most of them as we go along. We learn some of them at home, some of them at school, at church, at playground, in our interactions with other people, neighbors, community, and all of that. We'll learn all these social behaviors as we go along. So we said last week that social behavior, to a large extent, is a product of the environment in which you and I will grow up and develop from. So you will notice that the social behavior, for instance, of somebody from Nigeria will be different from the social behavior to some degree from somebody from China, for somebody from Australia, because of the environment in which they both grow up from. Rita Ayere George, thank you for joining us from Netherlands. Appreciate you. Then we started looking at two specific questions that we said it's important for us to consider as far as social behavior is concerned in relation to where we are in our lives and in our journey of life. And the first question we said we need to look at is the old patterns, the old ways of doing things that we learned when we were growing up. Now that we are in our adulthood, are those old ways and old behaviors, are they still working? Are they still acceptable? Are they still the norm? Even when the group and the community remain the same, there are necessities that are placed upon us to also raise the bar, as it were, or the standard of those social behaviors. And so we were asking, the first question was, the old patterns, are they still working today? Are they still effective even in our lives at this present stage? And the second question we asked is the second question we asked last week was, do other people, even people within that social group, do these other people, do they still see you, or do they see you as you see yourself, or do they see you differently? And we went ahead and gave examples of what you do, what you think what you think or what you have in your mind as the meaning of what you're doing, but the perception and the reception that the other people from the other side have about it. And so it is important for you to identify and locate what the gap is between what you think you're doing and what people are receiving. That is the beauty of feedback, so that you can improve upon it and make it better. Last week we also said there are 4 realms in which all interactions are carried out. There are 4 focuses that we all have and we operate within in our interactions, in our dealings with other people. We talked about the first one was how you feel about yourself. Are you nervous? Are you conscious? Are you self-aware? And all of that. The second was how you feel about the other person. Is this person listening? Are they giving me their attention? Are their attention divided? Then the third one was how the other person feels about you. How the other person feels about you. And finally, the fourth one was how the other person feels about themselves during and after the interaction or the conversation. And we said, naturally, we all, as human beings, we operate by default within the first 3 realms. Meanwhile, those 3 realms were not the best in terms of our social behaviors and social behavioral skills. Then we went ahead to say the fourth one, which is how the other person feel about himself or herself, is the key to an excellent and effective and efficient social behavioral skill and pattern. And so we concluded by saying we will look at how to develop how to develop the ability to exhibit this fourth one, because the first 3 is where we generally default to, even though they are not the ones that will give us maximum return. Katie Moidem, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please, let's go and click the share button and start sharing the program tonight. So, What are we doing today? What are we doing? That was just a quick recap of what we did last week. Now that we have learned that the best way, the most effective and most profitable way as far as interactions and relationship with other people is concerned, the best approach among those four focal points is the fourth one. How the other person, how they feel during the time of their time with you and afterwards. So we agree that in order for us to perfect that, because it doesn't come naturally, in order for us to perfect it, we need to make deliberate, conscious decision to default to it, to exercise it, to make it the street where we live in, as it were, in our interactions with people. So now that we've established that, we then said, how do we develop this ability? How do we develop this ability? To grow up is natural. You just grow. You sleep, you eat, you wake up. You eat, you sleep, you wake up. You will grow. Growth is a natural phenomenon. But to develop, it's a conscious effort. It's a deliberate attempt and decision, a quality decision that you and I will have to make to say, do you know what? I have noticed that in this area of my life, I need to really pick up myself. I need to grow. I need to develop. I need to become better. Therefore, you start looking around for, what do I need to do? What do I have to do? How can I improve upon myself to become better in who I am, to develop and grow? It's like if you are like me with no big muscles and you want to become Mr. Schwarzenegger, the muscle man. If you just sit down on your couch, you eat, you sleep, you're not going to grow that. But in order for you to develop those muscles and have six packs or whatever you want, you then have to enroll, for instance, in a gym and be consistent, be constantly be there, and do whatever it takes to grow those things. It is the same thing as far as social behavior is concerned. Because it's not a natural default, in order for us to grow it and become better at it, we have to deliberately make the effort to grow and develop it. Nikki Sulaiman and Kunle Ajala, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you. Thank you. So, what are the ways? What do I have to do? What can you do to develop this social behavioral skill? The first thing is there's a concept called perennial host. Perennial host. That is the first thing you need to take on board. You need to act as a perennial host. And I'm going to explain that. You know, when two people meet for the first time, say you and I are meeting for the first time. Hello, how are you? My name is Tunde Disu. And say, oh, hello, my name is Kunle Ajala, for instance. This is the very first time that you and I are meeting, myself and Kunle, for instance. What the natural thing is, I would see Kunle as a guest. Kunle will see me as a guest. So we're relating on that level of he's a stranger, he's a stranger. He's a guest, he's a guest. So everybody is trying to kind of find their level. You don't want to overshoot. At the same time, you don't want to seem like you're uninterested. So everybody is playing I'm a guest game. But the best way in that situation or in that circumstance is for you to assume the position of a host. Yes, you are meeting for the first time. Yes, you've never seen this person before. But instead of relating to the person as a guest, which is natural, flip that over, turn that around, change the status quo for yourself and act as a host. Now, as a host, what do you do? The first thing in the mind of a host is to make his or her guest comfortable. to make them relax, to calm them down, to look after them, to make them feel at home. Now, the moment you adopt that position of the host, you immediately take away that cloud of uncertainty, that cloud of I'm not sure how to go about this, that cloud of where he's a guest. Immediately that cloud is taken away. The first thing you will gain is that you become more relaxed with yourself. You remember last week when we were talking about the issue of you focus on yourself when you are meeting somebody for the first time. The reason you do that is you are fidgeting, you are nervous, you're not sure of how to go into this, you're not sure if you are talking too much or not talking enough, and all of that makes you a little bit jittery. But when you adopt the position of the host, this is a host in your house, in your domain, in your environment, immediately that natural tendency to be fidgeting and unsettled is taken away, because now you see this person as your guest, you see this person as your host, as your visitor, and you want to make them comfortable. So to be a perennial host, you have to think of yourself as the host, as the one welcoming this person every time. Make it a point of duty to focus on this other person. This is what will happen. When you take the position, when you assume the position of a host in every situation, it takes the focus away from you immediately, and your focus is directed to the other person. Because of that, you are not nervous. Because of that, the other person is now more relaxed because of the way you are relating to him. The disposition and your behavior says to the person, hey, chill, relax, feel at home, put your feet up, just calm down, we're good here. Also, as a host, you take the lead. A host, for instance, if you come into my house, I'm not just going to sit you down and be waiting for you to say something. As your host, I'm going to say, so, how's your day been? How's the family? And because you have already assumed that position of the host, you make the interaction to flow freely and flow smoothly by taking the lead in initiating the conversation. And even when the conversation seems to be kind of waning and lagging, you pick it up and you start another topic, and that keeps that interaction, the experience of the other person. It gives them a wonderful experience. Remember, the purpose of all of this is to make the other person feel great about themselves during and after the interaction. So by you assuming the position of the host, you are already spreading the red carpet, saying, welcome to my abode, make yourself feel free, make yourself at home, and all of that. And before you know it, everybody is fine and doing great. Rita Van, thank you. Pastor Alexander, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. The host ensures that the other person is having a good time, and you try to be hospitable. For instance, if they need something, you are immediately there to provide. If they ask a question, you are immediately there to give an answer, because you have positioned yourself as the host. Like we said last week, because you are now in that position, your focus is no longer on you. You have also delivered the other person from putting the focus on themselves, thinking, what am I going to do about this guy? How am I going to say this? But because you are initiating the move, you are making the person feel relaxed, feel comfortable, you are already giving them the best time of their life in that moment, at that instant. And that is the experience, that is the feeling, that is the emotional state of their mind when they leave your presence. And also, when they are talking about you to somebody else or talking about that incident or that experience, guess what? They won't talk much about what happened. the talk will be more about how you treated them. And by so doing, your standard, your perception of that, that person's perception rather of you will go through the roof. And this is what will happen. Because you have made the person relax, you have made them feel at home, they are now looking forward to an opportunity to give you the same experience. If they can't give it to you, they want to sow it forward. They want to now use that as a template to treat or relate to somebody else. And before you know it, the circle is getting warmer. Everybody is getting happier. The atmosphere is getting more relaxed, and everybody is having fun. But to do that, you have to deliberately. The key word here is a quality decision that you make to be the host. To be the host. Emmanuel, thank you, sir, for joining us. Now, when I say be the host, it doesn't mean only when people come into your house or when you are the one hosting the event. That's not the point. The point is, irrespective of the situation or circumstance, you just take the lead. Take the lead. Take the lead. As a host, your mindset is one that you adopt at all times. This host mindset, you have to adopt it at all times. And as a host, when you do that, the host has, as a host, naturally, you have what we call social generosity. Every person that comes into your life, into my life, they bring a gift. Every person that you interact with, every person you have contact with, every group of people you fellowship with, they all bring a gift. And you bring a gift. You bring gifts as well. There is what is called the 4 social gifts that everybody would bring to any interaction. However, because it is not written down somewhere, because it is not labeled, we tend not to recognize what they are and how they operate. And therefore, we don't deliberately make them work and make them better in their operations. But tonight, we're going to look at these 4 social gifts that you bring and I bring every time we interact, every time we meet. Because guess what? By this knowledge, you will now have the opportunity to take this on board when you are in the office tomorrow, when you meet your neighbor in the car park next week, when you go for shopping and you're in the groceries and somebody is trying to have a chat with you, a conversation, or with the cashier, or you go to the surgery. Have you been to the surgery lately? And everybody sits down like it's a funeral parlor. No. Yes, we're all there because of one thing or the other, but it doesn't mean nobody should talk. But if you have this, if you develop these 4 social gifts, guess what? Everywhere you go, they'll be live. People will just be lively. It's something that we all have to take on board. So let's quickly look at these 4 social gifts that we're talking about. The first question I want to ask is this. You and I, we've seen people. You see them for the first time and you just find them irresistible. You just find them adorable, friendly. They are warm. They find them charming. They are magnetic. You just want to go closer to them. At the same time, there are other people that you just think, oh, here we come again. I don't want to be here. I need to. The question is this. Why? What is it exactly that makes some people attractive, charming, likable, magnetic, charismatic, and yet others are like repelling? As soon as you see them, as soon as they come around you, your body just repels them. Why? Those people that are charming, those people that are attractive, those people that are likable, is it the way they talk? Is it the way they dress? Is it the way they carry themselves? Is it the way they go about their business? What is it about them that has given them that ability or that attribute of being attractive and being charming? This is it. Whatever the reason you come up with, underneath those reasons, and as numerous as they may be, there is an unspoken word that these attractive and likable people, there is an unspoken language, there is an unspoken word, there is an invisible signal, there is a virtue that goes out of them that we all see, even though it's not visible. And that message, that aura, that presence that goes out of them is a message that says to us, hey guy, I have something to add to your life. I am here to be a blessing to you. I just want to bless you. I want to love on you. I want to really make you feel good. I want my presence to bring you to a point where you feel good about yourself. They haven't said that, but that is what we're hearing. They haven't communicated that, but that is what we're receiving because of these 4 social gifts. Every relationship that you and I are involved with, every relationship, irrespective of what level or what angle it takes, they all bring privileges and they have responsibilities they put on us. Every relationship have their own privileges that you are enjoying, but on the flip side of that, there are responsibilities that are bestowed upon you. So, what do we do? Naturally, it's not written, we do it. What do? We bring out our imaginary calculator and we start punching the figures. We are immediately trying to find a balance. The privileges that this relationship is bringing to me and the volume of responsibilities that it's placing upon me. We're matching them to see, am I going to be trade surplus or trade deficit? Is this going to be beneficial to me or is this going to take more away from me? Now, that does not mean we will not go into that relationship. That does not mean we will not fellowship with that person. It just tells us this is where it is. It sets the platform. It sets the baseline upon which that relationship will work. We do it naturally. So is this relationship going to be a trade surplus or a trade deficit? And we immediately adjust ourselves to wherever the pendulum is swinging towards. I read a book once by John Maxwell. It's called Winning with People. Winning with People by John Maxwell. And in that book, John Maxwell said, in life, there are 2 types of people. The lifters and the leaners. The lifters and the leaners. What's the meaning? The lifters are the wind under your wing. The wind under your wing. What do I mean? They help you, they propel you, they push you up, they elevate you, they help you to go to a greater height. By just being around them, you can't help but you want to be better. You have to be better. You just need to be better just by being around them. Those are lifters. The leaners, on the other hand, they are like the anchor under your boat. There's nothing wrong with your boat having an anchor, except that when you drop the anchor of your boat, what does it do? It keeps you to stand in the same place. It weighs you down. It holds you in place. It will slow you down. It will impede your movement and your growth. It will derail you if you let it. The lifters, the leaners. How do you deal with those two class of people? The truth is, in your life and in my life, you know leaners that are there. You know lifters that are there. And if you think it's not like that with you, please say something, write something. Let me learn from you. Whatever you know that makes you not have these people in your life. We all want to know it because it is natural that in some instances, the same person is on one hand a lifter and on the other hand a leaner. It's just natural. That's the way life is. Some people add something to our lives. We enjoy them. Some people, they multiply something in our lives. We value them. Some people subtract something from our lives. We tolerate them. Some people, they divide something in our lives and we avoid them. The first two people are the lifters. The last two categories are the leaners. The question you and I need to ask ourselves tonight and going forward is, go back and look at your relationships, the fellowship, the group that you belong to, and ask yourself, am I a lifter or am I a leaner? Am I a lifter or am I a leaner? The good news is, either way, there's work to be done. If you're a lifter, you need to develop that capability and that ability. You need to strengthen it and grow it. If you are a leaner, you need to work on that aspect so that you can also move out of the leaner category into the lifter category. Generally, people are looking to connect with some type of people. You, me, everybody. There are certain group of people that we want to connect to. People that have more social benefits than cost. The people that will make us, at the end of the day, be more trade surplus than trade deficit. People who will be a net positive in our lives. And at the same time, we repel those who would extract more from us than we're willing to give, or they are willing to commit to the relationship. It's natural. There's nothing you can do about that. But the question is, the challenge is, the responsibility that put on you and I is self-examination. Am I a leaner or am I a lifter? Whichever one you do, you've got work. Whichever one you are, rather, you have work to do. So the key to being socially successful is being socially generous. The key, the power, the ability, the strength of becoming socially successful is being socially generous. And the generosity comes down to what you do with your 4 social gifts. Let's look at those social gifts quickly. Every human being, I'm sure you have heard of the Maslow's law of hierarchy or hierarchy of needs. Every human being, every person, every one of us, we long, we have a fundamental and a universal need. And these needs and this longing, these desires, they are met at different levels by different things and by different people. But in order for you to become a champion, as far as social behavioral skills and patterns are concerned, you have to master these 4 social gifts. Because when you master them, when you put them into practice and you let them just have free course in you and through you, you become the go-to person. Everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody wants to hang around you. Everybody wants to help you, to support you, to believe in you, to just do whatever they can do to hang out with you. The first social gift that you give to people when you meet with them or when you interact with them, when you are in a relationship with people. The first social gift that you must carry and give abundantly and generously is the gift of appreciation. The gift of appreciation. Every one of us like to be celebrated rather than being tolerated. I know you want that. I want it to. I would rather be in the company of one person that celebrates me than be in the midst of multitudes that are just tolerating me. It comes down to that one thing, that one word, appreciation. So what is appreciation? What is appreciation? In the English dictionary, appreciation is the act of understanding, recognizing, respecting, and praising a person's positive qualities or actions. Appreciation is the act of understanding, recognizing, respecting, and praising a person's positive qualities or actions. Now, the question I'm asking you today is, if you have demonstrated, if you have committed, if you have invested your time, energy, resources, and everything into something, into a relationship, into a group, into somebody else, the least you expect, truth be told, the least you expect is that the person understand your level of investment and commitment. They recognize that this is you pouring yourself into it. They then have to show some respect for what you are bringing to the table. And finally, you expect them to praise you. And that is what appreciation is all about. It is understanding, recognizing, respecting, and praising that person for the quality, the good qualities or the good things that they've done. And that is the first social gift that you can give to anybody. And the truth about appreciation is this. It's very, very cheap, but it carries a lot of weight and value. What do I mean by it's cheap? You don't need to go and bring the Eiffel Tower from France to give to somebody to show appreciation. Sometimes all it needs is just a wink of the eye. All it needs is just a pat on the back. All it needs is just a good, firm handshake. Look straight into the eye and say, thank you. All it needs is for you to just, if need be, make it a public show. Let everybody know that this guy has done this, and for that I am grateful. I appreciate his time, his commitment, whatever it is. Appreciation, it doesn't generally cost a lot from the person giving it, but the person receiving it is like the whole world has just been given to the person. That is the power of appreciation. Everybody loves to be appreciated for who they are and what they have done. When you appreciate someone, guess what will happen? They are open-minded. They are more committed, both to you and to the task at hand. That is the power of appreciation. And that is why it's a gift. It doesn't really have to cost you anything. But the person receiving it, wow. Wow. Appreciation in another way, it's like bringing somebody out. It's bringing somebody out from the cold and bring them into the warmth of your embrace, into the warmth of your house. Make them a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It lifts their spirit. It makes them feel I believe I can fly. They almost can walk on air. Appreciation It lifts people because every one of us is hungry. We are searching, we are longing for somebody to give us that lift, to give us that ability to feel good and feel better about ourselves. Especially in this world that we live in today, where everyone feels hyper connected, and most frequently, everyone is hyper lonely at the same time. That is the power of appreciation. The second social gift that you can give to somebody in the course of your relationship and interacting with them is the gift of connection. The gift of connection. The gift of connection. What do I mean by that? Simply put, no man is an island. No man can survive and be happy and be sustained and be fulfilled on their own, by themselves, just being alone. No, everybody needs to be connected in one way or the other. Even the Bible talks about the several parts supply to make the whole body what it is. And when there is a true, deep-rooted connection, when one part is hurting, the whole is hurting. When one part is happy, the whole is happy. So the second social gift you can give to somebody is the sense of connection. Connection is you finding a place where your life overlaps with my life. Where my life overlaps with your life. Where we can rub off on each other without feeling the grains of the effect of rubbing off. That is the power of connection. And what better way to do it is, or what better way of demonstrating connection is when you can reach out to people, especially you can establish a point where your life and their life, where they meet, where they connect, where they interact, where they just relate. For instance, if you find out somebody attended the same school that you attend, one of you passed out of the school before the other one gained admission into the school. But just the fact that you attended the same school, suddenly it's like you are connected. You know each other because now you found a common ground that unites both of you. Or you like a particular, or you support a particular football club. I support Chelsea, we're the champion. And the moment I see somebody in a shirt, in a jersey of Chelsea, there is a sense of connection with that person. Even though I don't even know his name, he never seen me before, may never see me again. But there is a bond that is immediately established. Maybe two of you like the same restaurant. Or in the morning, you grab your coffee from the same barista, and suddenly it's like, you're here again. All of a sudden, there's a point of connection. Generally, people like people who like them. People like people who are like them. People like people who have exactly the same thing like they have. Connection makes people feel connected and belong. I'll give you an example. In this neighborhood where I live, there are very few black people. Very, very few black people. So every time you walk down the street or you're driving and you see another black person, you don't even have to know him. You don't even have to have seen him or her before. But suddenly, you look at each other and there is an immediate connection like, I got you. I know you. You are one of us. You are like me. That is the power of connection. So as a social behavioral pattern, when you meet with people, one of the good things that you can do is to establish a point of connection. Establish a point where the two of you have touched and rubbed off on each other. It's like you go to a new school, or you're in your first day at work, or your first day at school, or your first day in a new environment. What is the first thing you are looking for? Somebody to connect with. Somebody to be part of is what you are looking for. So that is the second social gift you can give to somebody. Is the gift of making them feel connected. Is this helping anybody at all? Is this coming down your street? Can you relate to any of this that I am talking about? Because I can relate to most of them. Thank you, Rita. Rita said yes, she can relate to it. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. The third social gift that you can give to people is the gift of elevation. The gift of elevation. What is that? Is the gift of lifting somebody's spirit, making them laugh, putting them in a good mood, introducing them to something fun, something nice, an activity that will engage them and take them away from the routine of life. The gift of elevation. Somebody said, God gave you two hands. One belongs to you, and the other one is to lift up your fellow men. The gift of elevation is when you reach out. Just reach out and touch somebody else and give them a reason to smile, a reason to just brighten up, a reason to feel amazingly great about themselves. The gift of elevation. You see, this world that we live in, God help us. This world is full of oppressors, haters, oppositions, and all of that. So every now and again, when people find someone who is not there to put them down, when you give people the reason to believe that my assignment is to lift you up, to give you a hands up, to just help you feel great about yourself, guess what? People will gravitate towards you. People will just love to be with you and be around you because your presence brings something that is not common. You are different. Most people in life, most people that you meet at work, at school, even at church, especially at church, they are snobbish. They can't be bothered. They are condescending. They look down on you like, what are you doing here? But when you relate to people, when you let people feel great about themselves, you lift their spirit, you put a smile on their face, wow, now you are talking. I remember some years back, my wife and I, we organized an outing for all our friends and people that were able to come. We took them to a place in Milton Keynes called Woolen Lake. Wow. It was a blast. It was wonderful. We were there from morning till evening, and everybody had great time. There was this lake that you can do any form of water sports, any boats and paddling and speedboats, and there's a place for rope climbing. There's a whole section for children, bouncy castle, you name it. It was just so amazing. And people just love it. That is the power of elevation. That is the power of taking people away from the mundane, the routine of every day, and just open them, expose them to something new, an activity that they're not used to. Just gives people a reason to be happy. Boy, the best thing that's ever happened. So that's the third social gift that you can give, the gift of elevation. The gift of elevation. So we've talked about the gift of connection, the gift of elevation, and the gift of appreciation. The fourth social gift you can give to people is the gift of enlightenment. The gift of enlightenment. We can all do with some form of encouragement. Everybody needs to be encouraged in one way or another. We all can do with some encouragement. So what is the gift of enlightenment? It's simply put, it's presenting people with any novel or stimulating trivia, insight, idea, wisdom, anything that will make them develop and increase and improve and become better in themselves. Now, it doesn't all have to be academic and theological and what. No, but anything you can do to give people something to stimulate their growth, their development, it will go a long way to make you the go-to person. It will go a long way to improve and increase your social standing among peers and friends. Anything you can do that will edify and delight people, that will bring a sense of, I have learned something today. I am better off than I was at the beginning of this conversation. Something definitely has rubbed off on me. Anything you can do along that line is the gift of enlightenment. Anything you can do to add value to people, to enrich them. Again, it doesn't have to be something gigantic. It doesn't have to be something big. If you can do big, great. But you see, we are all looking for that little bit, tiny bit, that special touch, that special exposure, that special introduction to somebody who can help me, that special, okay, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll talk about it. That special, have you considered this one? Have you looked at it this way? What about if you do it this way? Because I know you can actually do it this way. It's amazing how many people, for instance, will walk up to you and say, where do you get your car insurance? Now, anybody can get car insurance. If you Google it, it's there. But despite that, people will still come to you and say, where did you get your car insurance? Who is your insurance with? All they are looking for is that tiny bit of, oh, I'm with so insurance. And they're really very reasonable. Their customer service is great. This is that. It includes a courtesy car. You will get a roadside assistance. All the people are looking for is somebody to just care enough and be willing to enlighten them, to make them better, to give value, to add value, to enrich their life. It's not about the size, ladies and gentlemen. In most cases, it's just the thought that matters. So the fourth social gift that you can give or you can become to people is the gift of enlightenment. When people know that every time they are around you, they are with you, they're going to learn something. They're going to go away with something. They will be richer and better than they were when they came. People generally will gravitate towards you. And like I said at the beginning, those are some of the things that will make people become attractive, irresistible, charming, likable, and people just want to be with them. Of these four social gifts, I'm bringing this home to where you live now. Of these four social gifts that we talked about, appreciation, connection, enlightenment, and elevation, of these four social gifts, we all have them. We all have these four social gifts. And the irony of it is they operate at different levels in our lives. Some people have very strong elevation and enlightenment. Some people have maybe just one, but we all have it. In order for you to be the most effective as far as social behavior is concerned, is for you to find a mutual balance, a complete balance, a total balance, where those four gifts are working in sync one with another. If you allow one of them to dominate the others, it will not be as effective as where you have the four of them working together. It is so important that you find this balance. The good thing about these four social gifts is this. When you sow it, when you give it, when you invest it, when you send it out, it's like a boomerang. It has a way of doing the rounds and then come back to you. When you are socially generous, that you give people these 4 social gifts, people have a way, nature has a way of turning it around and bring it back to be a blessing to you. A guy named Rashid Ogularu said, some people strive to make themselves great. Others strive to make other people great and find greatness. It is the latter that really enrich the world that we live in. By giving these 4 social gifts, by investing these 4 social gifts, it forces you to take the focus off yourself and shift it to the other person. Remember, the whole essence is to make that person feel better when they walk away from your presence, even when they are still with you. The focus is to make them feel better about themselves. So when you give these 4 social gifts, it takes the focus off you and it puts the focus on the other person. It delivers you from that initial nervousness and self-conscious and not sure how to go about this. All of that is taken away. Remember what we talked about, being a perennial host. This is it again. It's when you take the focus off yourself and put it on the other person, you are better off for it. When you give these 4 social gifts, it's the best way to get attention. The reason is this, not because you're an attention seeker. The reason why it will make you get attention is when you show yourself interested in other people, guess what? They too will become interested in you. They will become interested in you. Giving, irrespective of what it is, how it is done, giving is sowing. Giving is like sowing a seed. The good thing about it is this: in every aspect of human existence, the seed is always and will always be smaller than the harvest. So when you sow the 4 social gifts, guess what? It's coming back to you in good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. The seed is always smaller than the harvest. But ultimately, these 4 social gifts, they are scarce commodity. They are not readily available. People don't readily give them as a total package. But when you are able to do that, from what we have seen tonight, when you are able to bring the 4 of them together and present it as a whole total package, it makes you stand out. It makes you stand out from the crowd. It makes you stand out from the crowd. Giving is like serving. In fact, giving is serving. And serving, like I said in my book, Elisha Project, The Privilege of Serving Leaders, serving is the surest way to cure selfishness. If you want to cure selfishness, take on serving. Take on serving. It adds sense of purpose and meaning to life. That's serving. It cures selfishness. Selflessness teaches humility, and it gives the satisfaction that you are being a blessing. The knowledge that you are adding something to someone else, it's priceless. Selflessness builds trust, and it encourages and at the same time challenges others that I can see the way you are selflessly serving and giving, for them to also rise up to the occasion. That's what giving and serving will do. Ladies and gentlemen, while it is good for you to be to initiate social generosity, what you must never forget is that after you have established the relationship, after you have established the field, the opportunity, you have set the table of social generosity, it will naturally evolve into something that is mutually fulfilling both to you and to the other person. Social generosity, once it is established and once it is in operation, by the giving of these 4 social gifts and by becoming a perennial host, when you combine all these facts, all these points together, it naturally evolves into something that is mutually benefiting and fulfilling for you and the other person. I hope you have learned something today. I hope something has dropped on you today. I hope you've been able to pick up something from all we've said today. My heart desire is to be a blessing. My heart desire is to continue to develop in my social generosity skills so that I can continue, I can have the ability and the opportunity to be socially generous at all costs, because I know it will come back to me in good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. And I'm not doing it so that it can come back to me primarily. I'm doing it to give the other person the advantage, to make them feel good, make them feel connected, make them feel elevated, make them feel enlightened, and let them know that I appreciate them as a person before appreciating them for what they have done or what they are doing. And I hope it's the same thing with you, that at the end of this program tonight, you will take away these 4 social gifts and start to develop them and use them in your life, because when you are doing it, and I am doing it, and she is doing it, and he is doing it, and they are doing it, guess what will happen? The world we live in will become a better place for all of us. Thank you so much for your time tonight. It has been a wonderful time. I hope you have enjoyed it. But just before we go, let me quickly remind us of the event coming up on the 7th of October. The 7th of October. I know some of you've seen the flyer on my Facebook, on my Twitter, and in some of my other social handlings. Thank you, all of you that have liked it, that have loved it, that have shared it. But this is what I need you to do. Please register. It's a free ticket. Because of health and safety, the hall can only handle a certain number of people. So please, we need to know and monitor the number of people registering. And you can register either from my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, and any other one that you can lay your hand to. If not, you can register directly from Eventbrite. Just search for the title of the event, Be Positioned, and you can register. The tickets are free, but it is for health and safety reason number one that we need to know the number of people coming, and also for the provision of other amenities. So please, I appreciate the fact that you've liked it. I appreciate the fact that you've shared it. I need you to register and invite your friends, your contacts, your neighbor, your colleagues. Invite friends and family. I'm trying to hold myself so that I don't start talking about what we're going to talk about on that day. But guess what? Be positioned. Be positioned. Be positioned. It's not enough for you to be standing. It's not enough for you to be in the queue. But it is more important, most importantly, your position while standing and while you are in the queue. The event, again, like I said, is on Saturday, the 7th of October, less than a month away. It's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The venue is St. Peter's Hall, Wiggle Road, off Etham Road in London. The postcode is SE12 8 Hotel, Quebec, 8 HQ. It's for men and women. I remember the last one we did, some ladies were saying, well, we're not sure whether we can attend. This is for men and women, boys and girls. Bring the whole crew. We're going to have a great time on that day. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. So please, let's go and share it. Let's go and encourage our people to register, and you register yourself. And together, let's go and be positioned for what is going to happen from that day forward. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I really appreciate you. I thank you for setting out this time to be on this platform, for all your support, for everything you are doing to be a blessing to me. It is an honor. It's a privilege to be able to sit down and talk, and people are part of it. It's an amazing sense of honor and a privilege, and I will never take it for granted. So I want to appreciate you again. Thank you, and thank you. Until next week, when we meet again on this platform of Become a Better Man, you know the story. We're not going to stop. We're not going to slow down. We refuse to be distracted because we have a destination at heart. And when we arrive at that destination, people will have no choice but to declare and testify that surely these are better men and better women. Until we meet again next week, thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful week, whatever is left of it, and a blast of a weekend. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you.